Hello everyone, my name is Afiyah Binti Manaf, and today I will be discussing about some important topic of Malaysian trade performances over the past few years. I will be also giving some recommendation to help improve the Malaysian trade balance for the future economic growth. Now, let's go and explore the Malaysian trade performance. Over the past years, Malaysian trade performance has shown a remarkable level of resilience and stability, despite facing one of the most challenging periods in global economic history. In 2020, Malaysia, like many other nations, was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Lockdowns, supply chain disruptions, and reduced global demand slowed trade activity. Yet, the country managed to maintain essential export such as the electrical and electronic products, palm oil, and rubber-based goods, helping cushion the impact. As the world moved into 2021 and 2022, global market began to reopen. Malaysian export rebounded strongly, driven by the high demand for semiconductor components and manufacturing goods. The recovery was steady, reflecting the country's strong industrial base and adaptability. By 2023, Malaysia continued to expand trade with major partners such as China, Singapore, the United States, and the European Union. In 2024, Malaysian trade performance stayed consistent. The easing of global supply chain bottlenecks and softening commodity prices fluctuations helped maintain balanced trade growth. Despite external risks, the country's competitive manufacturing sector and growing digital economy contributed positively to its overall trade outlook. In 2025, Malaysia maintained steady trade momentum, while global economic conditions remained mixed. The nation continued to benefit from strong export demand and strategic trade partnership. The period of 2020 to 2025 demonstrate Malaysian resilience, stability, and ability to adapt to evolving global trade. Malaysia's trade journey throughout these 5 years show a country that despite global challenges managed to stand firm. Malaysian trade performance success are mainly shaped by the two distinct flows. The domestic export that have shown steady growth supported by the expanding production capacity and diverse demand, and re-export that fluctuate rapidly in response to the global events. The Malaysian domestic export remains stable, dependable, and consistent. In September 2025, they grew 4.2%, making up roughly 75% of Malaysia's total exports. This reflects Malaysia's strong industrial base and production reliability. Meanwhile, re-export remains fast-moving and also geopolitical sensitive. They respond to changes in commodity prices, economic slowdowns in major markets, tariff conflicts, and supply chain disruptions. Re-exports represent the fast-moving pulse of the global commerce. The U.S. tariff pushed China to reroute export through Asia, including Malaysia, in 2025. As a result, re-export flows increased across Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia. Malaysia's role as a transit hub expanded due to a geopolitical shift, not domestic product. Export to the U.S. fell 8% in August 2025 across the Asia. However, growing demand in other regions supported diversification efforts. Domestic export benefited from the diverse market, while re-export reacted sharply to the regional demand changes. Therefore, the Malaysia trade performance is defined by the balance between domestic export and re-export. Domestic export shows the industrial resilience, while the re-export capture a global opportunity. Together, they revealed a nation navigating uncertainty with adaptability, connectivity, and a strategic foresight. Now let's take a look of Malaysian import from 2020 till 2025. Between the year of 2020 and 2025, the types of product flowing into Malaysia shifted dramatically, revealing deeper changes in technology, industry, and national development priorities. Nearly half of all goods entering Malaysia fall under one critical category, which is the intermediate goods. In early 2025, E&E components made up more than 34% of the total imports, feeding Malaysia's semiconductor facility, assembly plants, and high-tech production lines. Capital goods such as machinery, industrial equipment, and advanced manufacturing tools normally make up 10% to 13% of import, but in April 2025, capital goods imported skyrocketed by 114%. This dramatic jump comes from the factory upgrades, automation investment, and infrastructure pursuit. The consumption goods making up about 8 to 9% of the imports, including food, beverages, household essentials, and consumer durables. In the early 2025, rising food and beverages imports reflected shifting preference and stable domestic demand. While less dramatic than industrial imports, this category reveals the steady needs of Malaysian households. The key shift of the Malaysian import over the past year is technological imports rising sharply as Malaysia expanded semiconductor capabilities. Capital goods spikes reflecting major industrial investment and cycle, and gradual but steady increase in consumption goods driven by the population and lifestyle trends. Now, let us move on to the Malaysia major import and export sector. Beyond the data, this sector tells the story of a nation advancing its manufacturing base, investing in technology, and strengthening its position within global supply chains. There are main key sectors that has contributed to the Malaysian trade, including the electrical and electronic, machinery and equipment, petroleum products, palm oil and agriculture, and chemical and metal manufacturing. E&E positions Malaysia at the heart of the global semiconductor and technology networks. Machinery and equipment emerged as the fastest growing export sector in 2025, expanding by 40.5%. Petroleum products remain a major contributor to Malaysian export revenue, recording 7.5 billion early in 2025. Palm oil remains one of the Malaysian most dependable exports, while smaller than the high-value manufacturing sector. Chemical products support agriculture, electronics, and countless manufacturing process. This sector forms a Malaysia's industry support system. Now, let's focus on the major export destination. These 5 destinations reveal the Malaysia's economic strength, strategic alliance, and position within the global supply chain. Singapore remains Malaysia's largest and most critical export destination, while the United States stands as a major export partner, especially in high-tech and semiconductor industry. China purchased a large volumes of machinery, electronic components, optical instrument, and industrial input from Malaysia. Taiwan is one of the Malaysia's fastest-growing export destinations. And lastly, Japan remains a reliable export destination known for the strict quality standards. Moving on to the Malaysian import sources. These are the Malaysian key import sources, which are China, Singapore, Taiwan, the US, and Japan. China supplies a wide range of products including E&E components, machinery, chemicals, and steel, while Singapore is the major source of a high-tech electronics, refined petroleum, and machinery. Taiwan exports the advanced technology products and manufacturing equipment to Malaysia, while the United States supplies machinery, chemicals, and specialized components. And last but not least, Japan. They provide the high-quality machinery, chemicals, and electronic components to Malaysia. Moving on, let's discuss about the Malaysia trade of the Free Trade Agreement FTA countries in Asia. In 2025, Malaysian trade with Asian FTA partners strengthened its role in regional supply chains. Asian accounted for 26.7% of Malaysian total trade. Reduced tariffs, streamlined customs, and harmonized regulation boosted trade in E&E, goods, and also machinery. However, FTAs also increased competition with the Asian, pushing Malaysia to upgrade its industry and stay competitive. Overall, Asian FTAs reinforce Malaysia's positions as a regional trade hub. Let's go through the Malaysian export by state in 2024. In 2024, Malaysia export contribution was dominated by the 5 key states, which is Pulau Pinang, Johor, Selangor, Sarawak, and the Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur. These states collectively accounted for 81.6% of the country's total trade value. Pulau Pinang was the top exporting state with 33% share of national export driven mainly by electronic integrated circuits. Johor followed with 20.5% led by refined petroleum product. Selangor contributed 17.7% of exports, also largely due to electronics. Sarawak held 7.8% largely from liquefied natural gas exports, and lastly, Kuala Lumpur contributed 4.3%. As the global supply chain shift and competition in the region intensify, Malaysia's trade performance remains steady, but the pressures are becoming more visible. Now let's take a look at the strategic recommendation Malaysia can take to strengthen its trade balance and secure the future growth. First, by boosting domestic value added in E&E and machinery. To improve the trade balance, Malaysia must increase domestic value-added production by developing local suppliers, upgrading design and testing capabilities. Next, strengthen Asian FTA supply chains. Stronger Asian integration not only expands Malaysia market access but also positions the nation as a vital link in Southeast Asia interconnected manufacturing network. And lastly, build economic strength beyond the big export states. To create balanced national growth, Malaysia must channel investment into lagging states by improving logistics, building industrial cluster, and developing skilled talent. As the global competition intensifies, the choices made today will determine the nation's trade tomorrow. Thank you for watching.